not that he was on the way, but that God is present and in the world. And that person of whom I speak of, who I am attempting to represent to you today, is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And in their holy and righteous names, I greet my beautiful sisters and brothers, and in greeting words of peace, we say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir.
If you aren't familiar with that greeting, it is an Arabic greeting which simply means peace be unto you. And the reply, wa alaikum salam, means peace be unto you as well. You know, we live in a place, in a space, particularly in this country where there's death and destruction everywhere, where we really need some peace.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, we could say, what's happening? What's cracking? What's popping?
What's
Hi. But those are appropriate greetings. We like to greet each other like Jesus greeted his followers.
Right.
With greeting words of peace. Whenever his followers would come and go, he would always say, peace be unto you. And you can read that in the scriptures. My subject, like Brother Gerald pointed out, is entitled, This is America. And it's inspired, honestly, from a video I saw.
Yes, sir.
By a young brother named Childish Gambino. Y'all know who Childish Gambino is? Anybody know who Childish Gambino is?
Yes,
Nobody?
sir.
Sister know who Childish Gambino. Y'all, man, you know Brother Childish?
Yes, sir.
All right, praise the Lord. I'm the only one who watch videos. But Childish Gambino, that's his stage name. His government name is Donald Glover. And he's a rapper, he's an actor, he's a writer, he writes and produces and stars in a series that comes on FX called Atlanta. He used to be in a show called Community. If any of you have seen the latest Star Wars Han Solo movie, he's Lando Calrissian in the Star Wars joint. But he does this video called This is America, right? And in the video, it's a very powerful video, very powerful. The song, honestly, I didn't think was that great until I saw the video. But in the video, he starts out, man, he turns around, you know, it's a close-up on brother, and he's facing this way, he turns around, and he just starts dancing. You know, he starts doing all these little silly little dances that black folks do. And there's a brother who walks up and who's playing a guitar. He sits down on a stoop. Childish Gambino walks up to him, and then by the time he gets up to him, the brother got a hood on his head. Childish Gambino, somebody runs up, hands him a gat. He shoots him in the head. Blah! Right? Somebody comes and they grab the gun all delicately. They take it off, and he keeps dancing. He starts dancing again. Right? And he's saying, this is America. And the metaphor is that while we partying, having a good time, doing the latest dance crazes, there's all sorts of death and destruction.
Yes, sir.
Madness going on.
Yes, sir.
And we steadily distracted.
Yes, sir.
You know, he's steadily dancing, you know, doing the cabbage patch. You know. And stuff is on fire. People get shot. He runs up and there's a scene where he runs into he goes into another room and there's a choir singing. And they saying, black man, get your money. Black man, get your money. And somebody comes up and throws him an AK-47. He mows them all down.
Wow.
Somebody comes up and grabs the gun again, delicately, and Childish Gambino gets to dancing again.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So all of this destruction is going on, and we party.
Yes, sir.
We distracted. we got our heads in our cell phones.
Come on. Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's crazy, but it's a metaphor for what's really going on. And then you look at what's going on in the world realistically, because that's a video. But like Brother Gerald was talking about, we got one of the craziest crackers to ever into the office of president.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that.
Right.
Donald Trump.
Yes, sir.
Donald J. Trump.
Donald J.
And Donald J. Trump rides into the presidency on the theme, Make America Great Again. Make America great again. And you know, those of us who got any sort of consciousness, we like, man, when was it ever great?
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
But what allows him to say that? Because you know, we translated it.
Yes,
What he
sir.
really meant was make America white again.
Right. Right.
But what makes it to where he can say make America great again, and you know, all of middle America jumps up and they on that bandwagon. And y'all don't get caught up, man, because that fool might get reelected.
Yes, sir.
Don't get it twisted.
That's right.
Don't trip. Don't think it's just 4 years.
Yes.
But he rides in on a concept, truthfully. They call it American exceptionalism.
Wow.
Has anyone ever heard of that term, American exceptionalism?
Go ahead, brother.
Now, it's a real term.
Yes,
I'm going to
sir.
write it down because I want y'all to remember this.
Thank you.
I want you to remember it.
Yes, sir.
Because I want you to look it up. See if Brother Herman was telling the truth or if Brother Herman was lying. You got another marker, Brother outside? Anyway, let's remember American exceptionalism. Because he rides in on this term. I'm going to write it down. But that's it.
You can't get
Because I want you to look it up. We'll take that off. But American exceptionalism.
Come on, brother.
Okay. So this term is a term that was coined, believe it or not, by Joseph Stalin
Okay.
in the 1930s,
Wow.
when America was going through the Great Depression.
Yes, sir.
Now picture that. He used it as a mocking term, basically. But American exceptionalism has been historically referred to as the belief that the United States differs qualitatively from other developed nations because of its national credo, historical evolution, or distinctive political and religious institutions.
Okay.
The difference is often expressed in American circles as some categorical superiority, to which is usually attached some alleged proof, rationalization, or explanation that may vary greatly depending on the historical period and the political context. However, the term can also be used in the negative sense by critics of American policies, to refer to a willful, nationalistic ignorance of faults committed by the American government. American exceptionalism.
Go ahead, brother. Yes,
So
sir.
what that means is we can condemn
Come on.
China for what happened in Tiananmen Square. Do you all remember what happened in
Yes, sir.
Tiananmen
Go
Square?
ahead,
Yes, sir.
brother. Go ahead.
some of
Right?
that's right.
It means that we can condemn Syria for gassing its citizens And consequently, that's one of the first acts that Donald Trump did as president was drop a bomb or bombs on Syria because they allegedly gassed their children.
Right.
Yes.
Without any proof whatsoever.
Right.
American exceptionalism means that we can condemn Saddam Hussein for having weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
Right?
Go ahead.
We can condemn Muammar Gaddafi. We having a little baby history lesson up in here today.
Come on.
Muammar Gaddafi for bombing Pan Am, what was it, Flight 103,
Right. Right.
back in the 80s. We're going a little bit back, going a little back.
Yes, sir.
But these are all incidents that caused America to move a lot of times militarily on these particular nations.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because we are the bastion of freedom, justice, and equality.
Wow. Go ahead.
We you got freedom of religion in America. You got freedom of speech
Right.
in America. You got freedom of expression in America.
Yes, sir.
We wouldn't dare treat our citizens that way. So we condemn you, and we'll act as though we are the world's police when we think you drop or you jump out of line. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
This is what they really think. American exceptionalism. This is what Donald Trump is really riding on. Make America great again. Do you remember, we're going to go back a little bit again, when Barack Obama became president and he expressed remorse, he expressed regret
Yes, sir.
for a lot of the policies that America had instituted all over the world, and so he said that he wanted to apologize
Yes, sir.
for some of the atrocities that America had committed.
That's right.
And these white people,
Push back.
ooh-wee.
Push back. Did they go crazy?
They jumped on that Negro's hat.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Mitt
right.
Romney said, man, how dare you apologize
That's right.
for anything America does.
Yeah, that's what he
Yes,
said.
sir.
We're exceptional.
Mm.
I mean, they rode that brother like, man, they rode him like a horse for that.
That's
How
right.
dare you apologize? You can't. We're exceptional because of all of these freedoms, right? So
This ain't free.
here we are in a place where now, lately, the newest thing, it's all over the news, is America under Donald Trump and its current immigration policy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Because we don't want them dirty Mexicans. That's what they said now.
That's right.
Go ahead.
That's
Go
right.
And
ahead.
people from El Salvador and all these different places who are rapists, who are criminals, coming into our country because, you know, Donald Trump said it in so many words. Taking it back a little bit further, and you guys are going to have to excuse my language. But he said,
Come on.
Go
why
ahead.
do we keep getting all these people from these shithole countries?
Yeah, that's what he said.
that is what he
Yeah,
said.
that's what that is.
Yes,
He
sir.
said.
He did say it.
Yep.
That's right.
Speak the truth.
He said that.
Yeah, he did.
Sure
Yes,
said it.
he did.
He said, and then he took it a little further. He said, man, how come we can't have more people from Norway?
Yes, sir.
Norway? Or Sweden?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what he said.
American exceptionalism.
Yes,
We
sir.
don't want them brown people coming up in here. Right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
And so the whole world, you know, the media responded and they, man, how dare you, now you separating children from their parents because you're arresting people just for coming to the country, trying to find a better way for themselves. And so you're separating them. Man, that's atrocious. They're outraged.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
CNN and NBC and MSNBC and all of the other fake news outlets.
Yes, sir.
Come on
Yes,
here,
sir.
boy.
Ain't that what he call it? Fake news.
Yes, sir.
Fake news.
What'd he say?
And you know, to a certain, in a certain sense, a lot of that is some fake
Yes, sir.
news.
Yes, sir.
I gotta tell it. We gotta tell the truth. We gotta. If the man is dirty, we gonna call him dirty. But if he tell the truth, sometime we gonna say that too. Is that right?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
But here we are, like Brother Gerald said. We were brought here, talking about immigration.
Yes, sir.
You know, in the Declaration of Independence, they use all this flowery language.
Yes, sir.
They say, give us your poor, your disenfranchised,
Yes, sir.
your huddled masses,
Sir.
yearning to be
Yes,
free.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Bring them to America. This
Yes,
is where
sir.
it's at.
Yeah.
But here we are, you and I, the descendants of slaves. And we were brought here. You know, we didn't immigrate.
That's right.
They used the term one time, they asked about slavery. It'll come to me, but I don't know what they called it. They called it forced immigration or something. It was something crazy. But anyway, we didn't come here, you know what I'm saying? We were brought here in the hulls of ships.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
through the transatlantic slave trade.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
On a false promise.
Yes, sir.
And we were separated from our parents once we were brought here.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
They didn't give a damn whether or not the families were kept intact
Not a
when we were brought here.
Yep.
Released.
They would take us and our families and they would split us apart and they would sell us off
That's
wherever
right.
there was a
That's
need
right. That's right.
on a particular plantation.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We were forced to go, but there wasn't any outrage.
That's right.
Not
That's right.
Interesting.
Still ain't.
That's exactly right, Brother Ahmad.
Yes, sir.
There wasn't no outrage.
Yes, sir.
Say, brother, but that was, that was 100-some years ago, brother. Still no outrage.
That's right.
Still. Thank you.
Go ahead. Still no outrage.
We were separated
Yes, sir.
from our parents.
Yes, sir.
We were separated from our parental ancestral home, Africa.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So here we are, got somebody else's name.
Yes, sir.
We Mr. Johnson,
Yeah.
we Mr. Jackson,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Washington,
Yes, sir.
Mr. O'Reilly, Mr. O'Toole.
Yes, sir.
And I talked about him a little in our opening, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Because here's what happened. God came
Yes, sir.
because of what happened to you and I. You can take it or you can let it alone.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
He said in the scripture in Genesis, the 15th chapter, 13th verse, that a seed of Abram or Abraham will be a stranger in a strange land that was not theirs, and
That's
that
right.
this particular people would serve another for 400 years.
That's right.
Okay.
And they would be afflicted
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
400 years.
Yes, sir.
Now, a lot of us would say, well, brother, I read that in the scripture too, and it was talking about the Jews in Egypt.
Not so.
Absolutely not.
Yes, sir.
Not so.
Go ahead.
Did you know that the Egyptians have history, written recorded history, that goes back tens of thousands of years?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And they have no recorded history of any slaves ever in Egypt, or any Israelis or Jews enslaved in Egypt. They have no recorded
That's
history.
right.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
None.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
That particular history or biblical history was actually a prophecy.
It was.
That's right.
And it was referring to us, black people, right here in the hills of North America.
That's right.
That's right.
Now you say, okay, well, we were brought here in 1619. That's what they say, right?
Yes, sir.
what they
That's
say.
when the first recorded history of slaves was here. At least that's what they give us in the history books.
Right.
1619.
Yes,
and
yes,
we were
sir.
brought to a small colony called Jamestown.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Right,
Right.
sir.
But it's not true.
That's right.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the first recorded history of our fathers being brought here was in 1555.
That's
right.
right.
1555.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
64 years between or before 1619.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
1555. Let me write that down, right? I want y'all to see this. Not 1619, but 1555.
Okay.
I'm gonna write 1619 right here. This is 64 years in between. So you said, brother, well, what happened to where they say it's 1550, they say it's 1619, and you all say it's 1555? Well, first off, it's not just you all. Again, these records are in the Congressional
That's right.
Library
Yes, sir.
in Washington,
That's
D.C.
right.
Yes, sir.
That's
right.
right.
But the 64 years the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us was a secret 64 years in which it took them to make us into niggas.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
64.
That's
See,
right.
because when they brought you here in 1555, you were not what you see today.
That's right.
They didn't bring people just to, to do manual labor. They didn't bring people who were just ignorant workforce.
Right.
They brought people who were builders.
Yes, sir.
They brought people who were scientists.
Yes, sir.
They brought people who were mathematicians.
That's right.
This 64 years is how long it took for them to take you from pyramids to projects.
Ha.
This
Okay.
64 years was how long it took them for them to take you from gods to niggas.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Hidden. So by the time they got to 1619, man, they had already broke the slave.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
3 generations, that's
Yes,
all it
sir.
takes.
Yes, sir.
3 generations for them to, again, separate you from your family,
Yes.
rob you of your name,
Yes,
your
sir.
language, your culture, your God, your religion, your folkways, your mores, your traditions, your customs. That's how long it took.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And you were ready to go to work.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
American exceptionalism.
Mm.
This is America.
Yes, sir.
So, here's what happens. So God comes after that time. He judges that nation. He raises one from amongst us,
Yeah.
the most honorable Elijah
Yes,
Muhammad,
sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
who does the greatest work that a black man has ever done in the history, not only of this country, but of the world,
Yes, sir.
in reforming a people who have been totally destroyed.
Yes, sir.
He takes us and he tells us our name isn't Johnson. That's why we wear holy names in Islam, in the Nation of Islam. That's why our
Yes, sir.
names are Muhammad, Ali, Akbar.
That's right.
All of these names have significant meaning, and all of these names are names of God.
Yes, sir.
See, we are, remember Brother Gerald said in his opening that the Bible, from cover to cover, is about you and I.
That's right.
From Genesis to Revelation. So in the Bible, it talks about how man was made in the image and in the likeness of God himself.
That's right.
In the image and the likeness of God. Now, that means you and I are children of God. That means you and I are gods ourselves.
Yes, sir.
That means you and I, we shouldn't wear the names of our slave masters if we're no longer enslaved.
Yes, sir.
You can wear it if you're still a slave. But once you wake up, you shouldn't wear his name. What do you look like wearing somebody else's name?
Yes, sir.
There's no Johnson tribe in Africa.
No, that's right.
Just not.
It ain't there.
See, there's a disconnect. So once we learn who we are, we need to wear our own names.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
That's right.
Muhammad means one who is worthy of praise and praise much.
Yes, sir.
See, that's the name of God. When we first come into the Nation of Islam, we get what we call an X. Right? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is the national representative of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable in the Nation of Islam. Before he was Louis Farrakhan, he was Louis X.
Yes, sir.
When he first came into the Nation of Islam, of course, he was wearing his slave master's name.
Yes, sir.
But upon accepting his own, he took on an X. Now, what does an X mean? Like Malcolm X. Y'all heard of Malcolm X, right?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Malcolm X was a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. An X simply means, in mathematics, the unknown. Y'all ever been in algebra class?
Yes, sir.
You always solve for X. If you got, just as a mathematical equation, 2x equals 4, you solve for X, right? And the way you solve for X is you divide this number behind the number that's in front of the X, and that tells you what your X is, right?
Uh-huh.
But before you solve for it, in this case it would be 2. Everybody got that?
Yes, sir.
Before you solve for it, it's unknown.
Uh-huh.
So when we come and we learn about who we are and we accept our own, we begin being ourselves, we take on an X until we solve for the unknown. And the unknown is whatever your divine attribute is. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Beautiful.
God has 99. He actually got more than that. But we recognize 99 attributes, the 100th being Allah, which means the all in all. But when we take on that X, again, we're waiting to find out who exactly it is that we are, who it is that, whatever divine attribute of Allah that we manifest, that will be the name that we take on. All right? But God came, judge that nation, right? We have been here since 1555. Now, you say 400 years, right? That takes us to 1955, right?
Right.
1955. That will be 400 years. Now, what happened in 1955 that signifies that this is really the beginning of our freedom? What happened in 1955 is, not only did Rosa Parks decide that she wasn't going to give up her seat on the bus, but more importantly, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who we are attempting to represent to you today, walked into his first Savior's Day address and heard his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Beautiful.
February 26, 1955. That's when that happened. And you know, you might say, brother, y'all putting a whole lot on this Farrakhan dude. Why is he referred to as honorable? Well, it is because he has worked tirelessly on our behalf, even though many of us don't even know it. Don't even know it.
That's true.
Since 1955. Now that's 62 and a half years, man. That's a long time to be working on behalf of a dead people.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, just think that over. And, you know, he could be doing anything else because he's a talented brother.
Yes, sir.
Anything
Yes,
else.
very much so.
But he has not, man, he has given his life on behalf of his people. And we call him honorable because that's an honorable thing to do.
Yes, sir.
He should be honored. Most of us can't do nothing for 62 seconds.
Yes,
You
sir.
feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But this man has been working on our behalf for 62 and a half years. So you have to beg our pardon if we call him the Honorable Minister Louis
Yes, sir.
Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
So that's what happened. That's how we came out. That's who God raised within this 400 years to get us about the condition that we're in right now. And that's who we are striving to represent.
Yes, sir.
This is America. American exceptionalism. And we're just going to point out a few of the things that make this thing so ridiculous. Because we talked about the whole immigration piece. We talked about her condemning other nations because she absolutely went into Iraq and she absolutely deposed and really murdered Saddam Hussein.
Mm-hmm.
And that country lies in ruins to this day because Iraq so-called had weapons of mass destruction, which of course they never found.
Yeah, it was a lie. That's right.
Because it was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But no one calls America to account for that crime against humanity.
Yes, sir.
We got to think about this because the thing that they're doing, brothers and sisters, is they're doing this sort of thing in our name.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, sir.
They're doing it in our name. Now I want to read something from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, wrote a book called The Fall of America. And in it, he predicted, man, pretty much everything that's going on right now.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
And this book was published in 1973. If you ever get a chance to get a copy, definitely get a copy. And Brother Gerald might have some for sale. I'm not for sure. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came behind him in 1992 and wrote a book entitled A Torchlight for America.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you might say, man, that's kind of a contradiction. The leader puts out the fall, and then his student puts out a torchlight. What's going on? Is that contradictory? No.
Not really.
See, the thing is, when you look at a torchlight, if the father put out the fall and the student comes out with a torchlight, there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being is the student is an extension of the father.
That's right.
He's an extension of the teacher. And so if he's an extension of the teacher, the fact that there is an extension and that the thing hasn't totally fallen down means that God has offered some mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I, all of us should know by now, since we've lived this long and we've done all the wicked stuff that we've done, and we still here, that God has mercy.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I don't want us to run it down and make no confessions, but we all know that we've done some things that we are in need of God's mercy.
Yes, sir.
And his chief attributes in the Holy Quran or in Islam are beneficence and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And so a torchlight is a mercy. Because look at what a torchlight does. A torchlight, first off, you gotta light it. You gotta have something to light it with, is that right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
But then, a torchlight only has a certain time that it will stay lit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't get to where you need to go, by the time that thing burns out, oh, it's over.
Yes, sir.
So America has time as long as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is with us. in my humble estimation. But I want to read something from this book, A Torchlight for America. And it just kind of it gives a summary as to where we are. And it's chapter 1. And the chapter is entitled, America is on her deathbed. America is clearly suffering, and from my vantage point, America lies on her deathbed in dire need of guidance and a new direction. If you examine her vital signs, you will have to agree that they show America is steadily on the decline. The root of her suffering is basic immorality and vanity, where greed, lust, and inordinate self-interest has become the way of life. When the desire for the realization of self-interest becomes excessive, the first casualty in this struggle is truth. The leaders in the society, in their struggle to achieve inordinate self-interest, engage in hiding the light of truth from the American people. If that sounds like Donald Trump, it's because it is.
Yes, sir.
Without truth, the American people are left paralyzed, unable to constructively address their problems. Eventually, their only response will be to react destructively, because their very lives are at peril's door, and they know not why they are in the condition revolution, because in the main, the government and the leadership has hidden the truth and will not or does not have a solution for the suffering and the root problems of the people of this country. Gross vanity, greed, lust, and inordinate self-interest have divided the country along the lines of class, race, and sex. We live in one country with two realities, separate and unequal. One rich, one poor. One white, one black. One predator, one prey. One skilled, one non-skilled. One slave master, and one slave. Now that goes on and on and on. But I just want you to just marinate on how powerful these words are
Yes, sir.
today.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because this book was published in 1992. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I want you to just marinate on that, because, look, gross vanity, greed, lust, inordinate self-interest have divided the country along the lines of class, race, and sex.
Yes, sir.
Y'all up on the Me Too movement?
Yes, sir.
Come on, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I mean, him referring to immigrants from these different nations as S-hole countries, ain't that along the lines of race?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a war going on, brothers and sisters.
Come on,
and we've
brother.
been
Come
at
on.
war, but we got to wake up to it.
Yes, sir.
Did you all know that they're having I think it's this week, they're having a white civil rights rally on Washington? Did y'all hear me? A white civil rights march.
Come on.
I mean, like, for real.
Yes, sir.
This is America. They on this American exceptionalism, man, like, man, to the hill. A white civil, when have white people not had any sort of right?
Right.
This whole American exceptionalism is, I mean, we could put an equal sign if this is mathematics, and it's going to say white supremacy.
That's right.
Yes,
sir.
So what the hell they need to have a white civil rights rally for?
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is insane. But we are in an awesome position. I mean, I think a lot for Donald Trump.
Carrying it down.
Yeah, man. He accelerating this thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
He is accelerating this thing. And he making us to know, man, that we must get up
That's
and
right.
do something for ourselves.
That's
He
right.
making us know, ain't no doubt about it.
Yes, sir.
You niggas ain't got nothing coming.
Go ahead.
Not in this America.
That's right.
This is America.
Yes,
He's
sir.
gonna make it great again.
Oh man. So man, I think a lot for
Go
him,
ahead,
man.
brother.
So, you know, with all of these atrocities going on in the world, we just ignore what's going on right here.
Yes, sir.
And it's so funny, man, because it's not funny, but we really need to wake up to the fact that whenever there's an atrocity, there's always some black and brown people involved.
Yeah, that's right.
Whenever there's injustice, whenever there's human rights violations, it's always black people
Yes,
who
sir.
are being violated.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And yet we waving this American flag. Like,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
God,
Yeah, go ahead.
America. Seriously? Do y'all realize that they still don't have clean water in Flint?
No, sir.
Y'all know that was 9 years ago, right?
Yes,
What?
sir. Come on.
In Flint, Michigan. The people don't have clean water, and Flint is a black city, by the
That's
way,
right.
if you did not know.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
The people still don't have clean water to drink. They don't even have water to bathe in. But this is the United States of America.
Yes, sir.
This is America. We can condemn China, again, for human rights violations, or North Korea, Kim Jong-un, he done, you know, did whatever to his people. I don't even know what he did to his people. I don't live in North Korea.
Yes, sir.
All I know is what y'all tell me he did.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
That's
right.
right.
But I know what's going on in Flint.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I know what's going on in Puerto Rico,
Yes, sir.
that they still don't have electricity.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That the American count when they was there was 70 people passed away, right? That Donald Trump went and said, man, y'all messing up my budget. He told them that in their face. Doing some paper towels, you know.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Said that there were 70 people who died when it ended up being 4,600. Right now. And Puerto Rico is an American territory.
Yep.
But Puerto Rico is a black island. Did you all know that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Whenever there's atrocities, they just killed our little brother in Pittsburgh. Y'all heard about that?
Yes, sir.
See, we don't even hear about it anymore. We're so desensitized to police killing unarmed black youth that now, man, it's not even a story.
Think of that.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, we could just name, we could rattle names as to how many black people have been murdered at the hands of police.
That's right.
And they don't ever convict the police officer. Ever.
Right.
Only one
That's
time.
right.
Only one time, and that was our brother Walter Scott. But that case was so heinous
Yeah.
that the brother was, and I don't even want to laugh about it, but it's just so ridiculous. The brother was running away, and the police literally took his gun out and shot him in the back as he was running away. And meanwhile, another little brother was videotaping the whole thing. And then they happened to arrest the little brother who was videotaping the whole thing.
Yeah.
See?
Wow.
We're always on the receiving end of these human rights violations. We got to get up and do something for ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Right.
That is the bottom line. The last thing that I want to say, I want to call your attention to, and is America's boasting of its freedom of speech. Because that's one of the cardinal principles that, you know, they make this a promise of American exceptionalism on, is that, man, in America, you can say whatever you want to say. And you can. You can say whatever you want to say, man. You got freedom of speech. Just watch your mouth.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The latest edition
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
of the Final Call newspaper, right, And let me tell you about this newspaper. This is the Final Call newspaper. This is the most widely circulated black-owned and operated publication in the world.
Yes, sir.
And it also serves as the communications organ of the Nation of Islam. It's a very clean paper. It don't have no cigarette ads. It don't have no liquor ads. It don't
Yes,
have no
sir.
naked women running through it.
That's
It don't
right.
have no weed ads. You know, in Colorado, every newspaper got weed ads.
Yes, sir.
Weed ads galore.
Yes, sir.
But not this one. But this cover says Twitter assault on Farrakhan. Here's the thing. Freedom of speech.
Right. Come on.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has a Twitter account. He has a Facebook account. He has an Instagram account. He has literally millions of followers.
Yes, sir.
But what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has done recently, in recent lectures, starting with our Savior's Day lecture, and that's an annual message that is delivered on February 26th, which is the birth date of the founder of the Nation of Islam, Master Father Muhammad. What he did on this past Savior's Day was he delivered a message that exposed certain elements of the so-called Jewish community,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
sir.
And subsequent lectures, he continued on that course. He did a lecture called Unmasking Satan just on May 27th.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
And Satan, and who he described as Satan, was those who say they are Jews but are not.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
But the scripture says that he will make them of the synagogue of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And so Minister Farrakhan boldly
Yes, sir.
exposed these people to their teeth,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So what they did was they went on Twitter, a lot of the so-called Jews who had a problem with what he said. And let me say this too, when talking about having a problem with what the minister says with regards
Go
to
ahead.
Jews. Because they call him anti-Semitic, which is the label they put on anybody who they don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a code word. It's a code word. It's a code word to all of those who receive Jewish favor and Jewish monies, that if you associate with this particular person, you're going to be cut off.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because Jews wield an enormous amount of power and influence in this country.
That's right.
Gotta believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta know that.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So, when they call him anti-Semitic, that's a code word, but what they never say is he's lying.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I want y'all to just hear me, man, and just listen to it, because they'll say that. He's anti-Semitic, blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
yada, yada, yada. Hate teacher, that's another code word.
Uh-huh.
Hate teacher. Hate is, they say the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches hate because he's exposing them.
That's right.
That's
See,
right.
like what we've done
Go
today
ahead.
is truth. Everything that I said in regards to American exceptionalism about Trump and the shithole countries, all that's truth.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's right.
But if the wrong people hear it, they'll say, oh, he's teaching hate.
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
sir.
Truth is a very dangerous thing, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because in the scripture, man, it said, man, you're going to know the truth,
Yes,
and
sir.
it will make you free.
That's what it says.
And the person who don't want you to be free is the one who has you enslaved.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
A slave master don't ever want his slave to go free.
That's right.
Ever. Because he's profiting off of your slavery.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
So what they did, they said, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, there he goes, shooting off that anti-Semitism thing again, right?
Mm-hmm.
There he goes, teaching that hate teaching again. So what we want to do is we want to unverify, listen to the language, they unverified his Twitter account.
Wow.
They unverified his Twitter account. Now understand that a man like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan don't need no white folks to verify him in no form or fashion.
Yes, sir.
Right? Understand that.
Yes, sir.
But they, nevertheless, they unverified his account. So let me tell you what that means, right?
Okay.
According to the website, and this is Twitter, the blue verified badge, which is a badge that you'll have on your account, on Twitter lets people know that an account of public interest is authentic, and a verified badge does not imply an endorsement by Twitter. According to their terms of service, Twitter reserves the right to remove verification at any time without notice. Reasons for removal may reflect behaviors on and off Twitter that include intentionally misleading people on Twitter by changing one's display name or bio, promoting hate, remember that hate word, and or violence against or directly attacking or threatening other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or disease, supporting organizations or individuals that promote the above, inciting or engaging in harassment of others, violence and dangerous behavior, directly or indirectly threatening or encouraging any form of physical violence against an individual or any group of people, including threatening or promoting terrorism, violent, gruesome, shocking, or disturbing imagery, self-harm, suicide. That's the reasons why they would verify or de-verify your account. So the question is asked, why did they de-verify Minister Farrakhan's account?
Okay.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's the question.
Yes, sir.
That's the big question mark.
Yes, sir, it is.
Because he hasn't done any of that. But the fact that, and here's the thing, I just said the Jewish people wield a tremendous amount of power and influence.
Right.
Did you know that all of the social media platforms are owned by Jewish people?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We know now.
All.
Wow.
And, you know, I always say Facebook and social media and, you know, Twitter, all that, it's a gift, but it's also a curse.
Right.
Because not only can you know, share some positive things with your friends and family and people in the social media community, but you see all sorts of debauchery and wickedness come across that social media, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And if you got children, you really got to be careful about how you allow them to use it.
That's right.
But all of it is owned by so-called Jewish people.
Yes, sir.
That's important to know.
Yes,
Facebook
sir.
is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, billionaire,
That's right.
billionaire,
Right.
who don't sell nothing. Did y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
A billionaire who don't sell nothing. But he does, right? But he don't have no product that I'm ordering so how many
Right.
widgets or whatever. No, he don't have no product. He sells your information that you happily give to him.
Wow.
And all of this, and Minister Farrakhan points it out, all of this ties right in with those who say they are Jews but are not, but are really of the synagogue of Satan because they use that information for their own wicked purposes.
Yes, sir.
So, this is America. And here's the last thing I want to say about all of this freedom, justice, and equality that we have in this great country. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Love is freedom, justice, and equality.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Now I want y'all to think that over. Love is freedom, justice, and equality. But America says it offers to its citizenry, freedom, justice, and equality. Which means they say they're offering love. The question is, do you feel the love?
No.
Yes, sir.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
Do you feel the love in America for the black man and woman?
Yes.
I would submit to you, hell no. Emphatically no.
Right. Yes, sir.
But hopefully, inshallah, you feel the love in this beautiful nation of Islam under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Absolutely.
Because that's all he's shown us is love.
Yes,
sir.
That's all he's given us
Yeah,
is
that's
love.
right. That's
He's like I said, he's given us everything.
That's right.
Before him, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught amongst us for 40 plus years, gave us everything.
Yes, sir.
God came himself in July 1930, giving us everything and never asked us for nothing.
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's love.
Come on, come on, come on.
That's love.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
What we get here, man, this is America, this ain't no love. American exceptionalism, that ain't no love.
Yes, sir.
That's hatred.
That's
Show
right.
it.
And that's especially hatred for black people, for brown people, for anybody who don't look like our natural enemies. And if you don't know who that is by now, man, shoot, I don't know what to tell you. Straight up. But with that, man, I want to thank you all, man, for coming.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed myself.
Yes, sir.
And you guys, you don't know how much your energy feeds me when I'm up on this roster, man. So I want to thank you for your time,
Yes, sir.
for coming out. And I want to greet you as we greeted you when we started in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Thank you.
So family, we just got a few things and then we'll let you go. The first thing that we love to do in the Nation of Islam is we are not the church, right? So we're not gonna give you a word and then tell you that you gotta believe what I said because I'm the so-called preacher and the preacher said it, so you gotta believe it. No, sir. First off, I'm not the so-called preacher. I'm your brother.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, you can question anything that I said.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And so we always give people the opportunity, if you have any questions about what you heard today, or if you have any questions about the Nation of Islam in general, that I may be able to answer. If you'd like to ask those questions, just raise your hand and we'll address those.
Beautiful.
Anybody? So everything was clear? Everything's
Very
good?
clear.
Must have really put it down, big brother.
Yes, sir.
Very clear.
Okay, so I have some questions for you all. Just a few, real quickly. First off, how many here are here for your first, second, and third time? Let me see by a show of hands.
First time.
Praise be to Allah. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Second question is, and this is for everybody, how many believe that what you heard taught here is the truth and is good for our people? If you believe it's the truth and it's good for our people, please raise your hand. I'm going to raise both mine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to stand on it. Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Good. It is the truth and it is good for our people. Okay, the last question is a question that requires a bit of action. But don't be scared. Again, I'm your brother.
Come on, bro. Come on.
If you believe that what you heard is true and is good for our people, and you would like to learn more, and you would like to join us and help to spread this message to our people because it's something that they need to hear.
Yes,
If
sir.
you'd like to do that, man, just stand right where you are.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
If you like to, stand right where you are. And understand this, man. This is a learning process.
Yes, sir.
I have been in the Nation of Islam Man, every time I say it, I
Come
kind
on,
of scare
come
myself.
on. Come on, big brother.
That's all right.
I know it. I know it.
For like 28 years.
Okay.
By Allah's grace.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I came in as a little boy, a
Yes.
baby boy.
Yes.
Wasn't that big, Tell the truth, you ain't do that.
But
Come on.
what I wanted to say is, man, I'm still learning.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
That's
still
right.
learning, and every one of us are students in this teaching
Yes,
because
sir.
That's
this
right.
knowledge, man, is so vast.
Yes, sir.
And what we share with you today is just a little bit of what we have learned of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad
That's right.
and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So, what I would encourage you to do is, if you don't want to stand with us today, just keep coming back.
Yes.
Keep coming back, keep learning. Read and study.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what I'm saying? And it's fitting that we're in a library. Praise be to Allah.
Come on.
You know, there's a saying that whenever you want to hide something from a Negro, just put it in a book. You'll never find it. Put your
Yes,
money in the book. All of that. But again, man, just read. Pick up this Final Call newspaper. Brother Gerald has some literature in the back. You know, just keep coming, keep studying, because we're doing this so that we can get our people up and so that we can really create a reality for our own selves.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? We know what we're looking at.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm saying?
Come on,
We know what we're looking at. And it's not we're in this Aurora Public Library, and I was talking with Brother Ansar and a few of the other brothers the other night, and it's like, man, we here because we've been put out everywhere else.
Come on. Come on.
Yes, sir.
It's true.
That's a
It's
good
true.
thing.
But when you're speaking the truth, man, people don't want to hear that.
Yes,
sir.
They don't want to hear that.
Yes, sir.
So we're working on getting our own space
Yes,
by
yes.
Allah's grace. So we have a building fund where we're trying to raise $100,000, and we're on our way because we want to purchase our own building so that we can have our own little mosque and our own little
Come on,
school
bro. Come on.
and begin our own little process of economic development.
Yes,
So keep that in mind when you're giving charity as well. So with that, I think that's what we want to do next is pass the charity bucket.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You can have me first. So we collect charity and know that we don't receive any money from any faith-based initiative programs of Donald Trump. So whatever you give, brother, whatever you give is going towards our local efforts. If you want to give towards national efforts, you can see our brother Afsar in the back, and he'll have a receipt for you. That's it. The other thing that I wanted to say is we had, oh yeah, this is important. This is for the family, but our brother Saeed Munaj Muhammad, his mother passed away the other day, a couple of days ago. So we want to extend our deepest condolences out to Brother Saeed and his family. What we would like to do is we started raising some money at the barbershop because I don't think she had anything in place with regards to
Who's
insurance and whatnot. Brother Saeed,
Oh,
yeah, his mother just passed. So if you all could, you know, if you can't see me in the back and I'm collecting money, we've collected I want to say 125 or something like that thus far, but we want to collect, our goal is 500 just to help with those expenses. So if it's on your heart to give, please see me in the back end. And that's a separate thing from everything else that we're doing. And I'll make sure that we get that money to brother. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Is there anything else we have, Brother Gerald?
just brothers booking this building here for next week. So we'll
Okay.
be right back here next week.
Okay, so we'll be right back here next week.
First Sunday.
Next week is the first Sunday, so we should be watching. No?
Webcast next week.
Yeah, so we should be watching the webcast. So we'll be right back here it'll be at 9 a.m. if we're watching the webcast.
Right, so.
No, can't be at 9 a.m. They don't open till 10.
Right, they don't open till 10 here, so.
We can't do that, so we'll have to do something else.
We have to teach. We have to
Okay.
go after the lecture, then you go home and watch the webcast. It's simultaneous, so you can watch it anytime throughout the day.
Okay.
But-
All right, so we'll stand by and we'll solidify those instructions.
Right.
But on Wednesday night at 7:30, we're right back here, but we're downstairs.
Yes, sir.
On Friday, we're at
72.
3172 Peoria Street. That's at the firehouse. In that meeting room, that's at 7:30 as well for our study class. So you brothers are welcome to come to that as well. What else? I think that's it.
Men's class.
Monday,
Men's class is at 7 p.m. at the barber shop. That's at 7520 East Colfax, and I can give you that address if you want to come to the men's address, or the men's class, I should say. So we'll be there. We'll be meeting there 6:30.
Yes, sir.
6:30 p.m. on Monday night. And the sisters class is at the library on 29th and Roslyn,
Sam Gray.
2961 Roslyn, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. That's it?
Brother Herman, the room will not be this room, it's across the hallway.
Okay.
So just right across the hallway, we're in that community room instead of this one. Next
Okay.
one.
Yes, sir. All right, praise the Lord. So if that's the case, we'll be here at the same time, 10:30. Yes, sir, brother.
Do we have anything on the Able products?
I'm not aware of anything on the Able products.
There's still some fish in the city.
For the sisters, your t-shirts, I'm not going to forget about y'all. Y'all's t-shirts will be here next Sunday. I'll pick them up this week. So we'll make sure we have them here for you next Sunday. All right? Is that it? That's it? That's all? All right, praise be to Allah. Well, let's stand for prayer. Hey, Brother Gerald, if you open this up, brother, so if
Yes,
you could, you can come close us out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all again. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep going for Brother Herman. Very good. Very good. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. That was very, very well thought out. Remember this now, you're not a part of that.
Yeah, look that up too, man. Look that up.
Exceptionalism. So let's pray, brothers and sisters. As we prayed in, we'll pray out. Position of prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and Thy name do we seek. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed Thy favors, and not the path of those upon whom Thine wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray after they have heard Thy teaching. Ameen.
Amen.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sir.
Thanks for coming.
Oh.